Father Patrick Keating is the leader of Catholic Migration Services, whose mission is dedicated to welcoming the stranger in our midst. He joins us now. Father, thank you so much for being here.
It's always great to be here, Emily.
Father, how should people react when they hear the president threatening mass deportations?
I think people should always be concerned. Anything, an elected official says, I think we always need to put into the larger context and the larger framework of what the actual situation is. Because people, a lot of things are said every day, from all across the aisle, from our president to members of Congress to on the state level. And, if you react constantly on every single word, you would be almost jumping up every single moment. What I do think people need to do is to take every word seriously. He's the executive branch, but also to take it with a grain of salt. Is it in a political rally? Is it just to get a headline? Is it actual policy? So I think we need to make distinctions. What is the context? But we still take it seriously, and people should just be aware of what he's saying.
And what's the best advice for immigrants and migrants who are worried by the president's words?
I think the first thing for any immigrant or person is to know what their status is. And the best way of doing it is going to an attorney or a qualified representative that's reputable. Catholic Migration Services is the diocesan agency that handles it, but there's many other attorneys. And make sure they're reputable and just know what your status is. What dates are important? What documents should you be carrying? What documents should you always have on you? And to be prepared. There's that ad that goes back to when we were children. Just be prepared for the situation. And that's what we advise all our clients and anyone that calls us or comes into our doors is be prepared and know what your status is, because knowledge is power.
Let's turn our attention over to the southern border. Some have called what's happening down there a humanitarian crisis. Do you agree?
I think we're seeing so many of the images we're seeing from both sides of the border, because the reality, a border is just a line on a map. What we're dealing with is people. And I think that's sometimes really getting lost with all of this going on. There's people, men and women, children, their families, young and old. And you see the situation. We see large numbers of people. They're trying to leave very dangerous environments, and they're trying to make a better life for themselves. And yet there's getting caught up in the world of politics, both on a national level and then an international level between the United States and Mexico and other nations. And yet we're focusing on that, and sometimes we're losing sight that these are people that need food, they need shelter, they need just basic necessities of life. And so anytime someone's in that situation and in a rough terrain, it's critical, and we should not take that lightly.
Now, there's a lot of people that argue the American immigration system is broken. How does it get fixed?
I think the first way is for people just to take a step back and talk and use a very unpopular word, compromise. I think we need to realize the history of our nation is it's a land of immigrants, but we need to get both parties in our political system, maybe not solve everything all at once, but to say there's so many small situations that we need to look at. These are people. They're here working. They're coming here for a better life. We have in our harbor the Statue of Liberty welcoming, and yet we're also a land of a nation of laws. And how do we allow our laws to make sense? Because if you look, I studied immigration law in law school, and you look at so many of the laws, they're not logical. It's like, well, if you come on this day, you're okay. If you come on a different day, nope, you're not. You're out of status. And we're losing sight of the bigger picture, but that's how laws are written. And so often we need to revisit these laws and to say, what can we do in the situation here now? But it takes both parties to talk, not grandstand, not look for the headlines, not look for political wins, but look to serve the people that they've been called to serve.
Father, thank you so much for your time and for your insight.
Great to be here.